All right, hello and welcome everyone. Campbell here, and back for our second chat with Charles. We had a chat, probably 2, 3 months ago now. Everyone really liked it, and we got you back again for another chat. And
Yes, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed sharing my research last time. It was great, and it's nice to see you live and chat with you again.
yeah, cheers.
Um,
All right, well, let's get into it. So we're going to sort of touch on. We're going to talk about Jesus, but we're not going to convert. Just some stuff that Charles has found that sounds interesting. So I guess I'll let you take it away.
yes, thank you, Campbell. I have slowly begun looking into the the incredible connections between sort of Asian teachings on the human body as a world within itself,
Yeah, yeah,
as an electrical device, as opposed to Western
totally.
medicine that seems to approach the human body in a very sort of this is a biological life form that we have to cut and look
Dissect.
into and
Yeah.
dissect and understand and I mean, I know when I was young, as soon as there was a problem, especially with like wisdom teeth, they would just pull them out. Or if there was an
Yeah.
issue with your like smaller organs, they would try to have a look inside, and there'd be some kind of operation scheduled, right?
Yeah, pretty
Whereas,
much. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, where I am now in Asia, and have been for quite some time, within Chinese medicine, that's just not how things are done. It's a completely different approach, and I'm beginning to think that maybe it's an electrical approach. It's an energy approach, as
Yeah.
opposed to looking at the body as something that needs to be invaded. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
that's the
I'm not a
thing with the
doctor.
body. Like the body heals
Yeah.
itself, right? You've just got to give it what it needs, which is a lot of the time unblocking the energy, the meridians, right?
Yeah, the movement of the chakra. Which, yeah, I think uh, in in Asian medicine, Western terminology, there isn't a word that's like mainstream. So people do say sort of energy, but it's actually life force. It's actually electricity.
Mm.
And if you look at like how a doctor would revive someone, especially like someone who's had some kind of heart palpitation or something more serious like a heart attack, they do use defibrillators.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, when it becomes really urgent, it does become an electrical situation. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So
I've
so
heard in Chinese medicine you're
yeah.
supposed to bite the end of their little finger if their heart have if they have problems or their heart stops. Have you heard that one?
Yes, yeah. I was looking at some information where it says the short circuit is the in. I think it's your thumb and your pinky.
Yeah. Right.
So you put pressure on there, it's actually called to shorting a circuit.
Yeah. Right.
Which after I heard that, I had to, okay, now I have to definitely look at this.
Yeah.
Just pretend it's all about electricity, and I'm not talking about um, this traditional view of the human body.
Mm.
And I think if we start behaving like this, if Chinese medicine becomes incorporated into Western medicine, I think it'll be a much better sort of world, because there were real extremes in the past. Like in the 1800s, you have these horrific stories of these Tartarian palaces that were converted into insane asylums where they were using electrotherapy.
Yeah.
um
Yes.
and and this is almost every horror movie, from like Frankenstein to like even cartoons like Batman, Arkham Asylum, all these electrocution devices that turn people into psychopaths, like the Joker. That's his backstory. And I'm
Okay.
thinking, well, why is that in our like mainstream? Yeah. Why are we being scared off electric therapy?
Because it
When
works.
Right, because maybe the organ accumulator is actually like a healing device. Maybe it speeds up healing,
Mm. Yeah, Rife
and
technology. Yeah, that, the Rife. That
Rife
was
as
Rife,
well, the
wasn't it?
Rife
Yeah, yeah.
machine. Yeah. So you've got people sitting in these copper, yeah, spirals.
Yep.
And so I went a bit deeper into it, and I had a look at the um teachings of the chakra, the seven chakra, the teaching of how much the number seven seems to come up with a human body, and then I had a look at the actual scientific information for how many watts the human body is creating, and I'd like to share some of that research
Yeah.
with you because I think it's really,
Awesome.
really interesting.
Yeah, cool.
Um, yeah. So
Cool.
on it says on average per day, the human body creates about 2,400 watts. But it doesn't tell you that this is only your digestive system.
Oh,
So if your digestive system creates 2,400 watts, um, then I think your heart is generating energy too. Now, 2,400 watts is enough for a normal like three-bedroom house, maybe like a family of like maybe four people, two adults, two children, like an average like small Western family. That's how much they need to power all their appliances. That includes like water heating, electrical appliances, light, maybe air conditioning. They they need per day uh, an average of 1,250 watts. So your body is actually generating through its metabolism 2,400 watts. So I don't think your body is using all of that energy. Now it tells you that your body needs energy for things, but I really, I really don't believe that. I don't think the heart, for example, is taking energy from the metabolism or the electricity created by your metabolism. I think your heart is adding to the energy. I don't think it's taking away.
yeah.
And I believe this because I have done a bit of research on the heart. I
Yes.
think the heart the way we are told the heart, and even at school today, if you were to be like 13, 14 years old again and you went to biology class next week, you would be told that the heart is a muscle that is pumping blood and pushing it through your arteries and veins.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
And I think this is
Well,
one
sorry, I
of
was just going to say, do Western medicine sort of say that the gut produces energy and then the heart uses that energy to run? Is that what they're sort of saying? Is it?
that's what they're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that that's wrong. I think that's a lie. I have to
I'd
be
agree.
I can't skirt around the issue.
Well, I mean, the heart's a tube, right? That's
I
being
think that
wrapped
is
up
a
in a
big lie.
vortex.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna go into that. I'll show you a guy who took apart lots of different hearts, did all the work already. Like I don't really have to do anything. I mean I don't have to like buy a cow's heart or anything. Like the work was done, and it's always the case with this, especially with the old buildings, with the copper anode cathodes. Someone has already written a book about this. It's just been quashed. It's
Yeah,
been removed from our timeline.
yeah,
And with
right.
all of this stuff. If you know what to look into, that's all you have to do. You don't have to buy a heart and unravel it. But this guy, he's studied various species of animal. He did all of this work. He had famous scientists visit him in the 1950s. They visited him from all around the world. He proved it to them multiple times. And I'll tell you his name. His name was Francisco Torrin Fask, and he did this in the 1950s. He did exactly what I'm doing. He went online. The only difference is he was an actual biologist, like an actual doctor, right?
Yeah,
So he decided to reinvestigate all species of animal. I mean, like hundreds of different species of animal, and he proved that the heart is not a pump that is connected to a circularity system, a blood circulation system. That I mean, I don't think he spoke fluent English. That might have been some issue. I don't know, but that it is a Gordian knot. He even coined this phrase.
oh, okay.
The fiber of the Gordian knot. Yes, and he said it's a muscular band. It has nothing. It is not pumping anything. And Then he referenced another physicist from 1628 who did the same thing. We have had so many people throughout history. This was an English gentleman, um, uh, named, I think, Philip Harvey. Philip Harvey. Anyway, Harvey et al. Decided that this was a homogeneous muscle, and that it's passively part of the body. It is not necessarily pumping blood only. There's other things it's doing. And then he referenced a physician who worked with the gladiators in ancient Rome, who worked at the large Pergamon, which has been moved to, I think, Germany now, in the new gallery in Berlin, the Pergamon, the original Pergamon. One of the physicians, like over 2,000 years ago, said that the heart was generating life, all life, maybe even connected to, yeah. So, and he was obviously cutting up gladiators that were, killing themselves, yeah,
Yeah.
or
So,
fighting each other, right?
sorry,
I
what's a
mean, there are
Pergamon?
Pergamon was the location, I think,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
which I think is the Pergamon is like a very famous temple or structure in ancient Rome.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I think that's just the information that they have. I think they're just saying, oh, he was working at the Pergamon, which is I think they've moved that structure to which is I think a religious temple. They've moved that to Berlin for some reason. That's in Berlin.
All right.
Yeah. So that's like ancient Rome too. A lot of references to energy or life force.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know why today we are still teaching children and approaching the human body as the heart being a pump, because we have many reasons over the last 2,000 years to doubt that,
Yeah.
and I would like to
Big
explore that
pharma,
with you
right?
today. Yeah, because yeah. So I mean, the issue here is if we are an electrical life form and our heart is actually charging electricity, then how much electricity do we have? This is my first kind of question. And then I'd like to move on to maybe trying to prove it to you with a few images. But
Yeah. Cool.
but I think you already kind of have heard this research. As with everything that I'm probably going to say, you've probably already heard it. But I hope there's a few things I can contribute. Like for example, um, do you know that we're creating watts every time our heart is actually the coil is generating watts every time our heart is beating?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I haven't read it, but that's what I would figure. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So do you know how many watts we're probably creating?
From the
Do you know how
heart.
many times the heart beats in a day? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a couple of thousand, isn't it? Three and a half thousand. I can't remember.
are you
Um.
ready?
Yeah.
It's a lot more. We are generating about 100,000 watts of electricity every day,
Through just from the heart.
just from the heart. That's not the metabolism. That's not the
That's
brain. The human brain's probably harnessing all kinds of things too.
That's interesting, right? With all this talk about being heart centered and, get in touch with your heart now. I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
if it's one of the big energy centers,
Yeah.
because we talk about people, I've got low energy or that person's so high energy. Yeah, right. So
It's dangerous. We are a
mm,
very dangerous thing.
yeah,
I mean, I don't
right.
know. Have you heard of like combustion? People combusting
Yeah, spontaneous combustion. Yeah,
spontaneous. That's right. I think the most dangerous thing on this earth is the human body, because if we're generating 100,000 watts, including the brain must be generating electricity too. I mean, it's definitely connected. Our hair is the antenna. We have
yep.
to look at it the way a building is constructed, because the buildings are modeled on our human body. So you've got the skull, which is this perfect resonator, the dome. We even refer to the
The
head as the
dome.
dome, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And the Buddhists believe we have the chakras that I touched on with Guy. So
yeah,
so I think now the Buddhists are removing skin from the head to enhance that. So the
yeah.
Buddhists
Okay.
become even more dangerous because, I mean, they can walk through fire. That's how they levitate. They're opening up their head chakras. So there's actually chakras on your head as well as your backbone or your body. So you have the crown chakra, which has its own chakra a geometry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think all of this is hidden from us. Like all of this knowledge has been hidden from us. If I think if we found out exactly how powerful we are, because I know the brain is generating thoughts. I know the thoughts are outside your brain, not inside. And I
Yeah.
know that they're targeting people with these towers, these 5G towers in certain
Yes.
locations. So as they are starting to realize that we have this external body part, this protective body part, the one that tells you someone's looking at you when there's no way for you to see them,
Yep.
and you turn around,
Yep.
that's probably the very low level of it. But we can
Mm.
start working on this. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of
And when people
Chinese
say the hair's
documentation.
standing up on the back of my neck or the hair's standing up on
Yeah,
my arms, right? Like that's, I guess, lots more antennas.
you're
Like,
interacting already. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Wow. Cool.
this is so cool. Like, I mean, 100,000 watts would literally power a small city. So I mean, one real person could power a thousands of these NPCs if they're losing your energy. So
Ah,
I mean, you could be healing
right.
people just by touching them. It's insane, really.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't
So
know how much
Lush,
time,
yeah.
yeah,
Because I mean,
it
Lush is
takes.
this kind of out there kind of theory, but I guess, yeah, if you think of it as actually taking
Yeah.
electricity, then that, yeah, right. That makes sense.
So children have probably even more, I think, at a young age. So you've got even just being in a room, I think, with children. Some people must be able to feel that energy. I think just maybe just sort of I think at a younger age, you're still kind of manifesting yourself. So maybe
Yeah.
you are taking that electricity from your surroundings as you're growing, because trees are taking the carbon from the air, the nitrogen from the air, so they are forming themselves using electricity, using the air. They're not taking all the minerals from the ground or the sun. Obviously, it has to go through the sun. So if you don't
Yeah.
have that theory of etheric energy or ether, none of that works. None of the whole sort of energy being given to you or energy being moving through something. There has to be some kind of atmosphere for it to move through, and that atmosphere has to be contained underneath something. So all
Mm.
of this is connected, and I think, yeah, once you realize the human body is generating its own energy at such astronomically high levels, then I mean you should be able to power your own house times 100, just from your body. So it is an energy war. I mean, it's an energy. It's a war of intellectualism, I think, of
Mm.
knowledge. You know, but as soon as you have a heart attack, it's a defibrillator. So I think someone already knows basically what to do. I mean, I think they know it's electric, but
Yeah.
they're not teaching us that. They're teaching us a complete lie at school. But it's the same with history, right? We shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, exactly. And with Big
To
Pharma
some extent.
behind it, like Big Pharma, we know is one of the biggest industries in the world, right? And if they start healing people and letting them teach
Yeah.
them how to do it at home, well, they collapse. So they've got a lot to lose.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think as we get more educated, we will start to see things in our culture that are or our natural behavior that prove this too. Like, if you put up your like both of your hands, one of them is negative, and one of them is positively charged, like a
Yeah.
soul battery. So you are in effect a soul battery that can actually manifest things because of its high charge. So I think everything on Earth, every animal, every living thing,
Mm.
it works in this way. So you have your left hand,
Yeah.
which would be the protective or the output. So
Okay.
that's the one you don't really want to. That's the one you kind of want to judge someone with, or analyze them with, by holding their hand. So I mean, when we shake hands with our right hand, um, uh, do you shake hands with your right hand?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Guess because I'm right-handed. Yeah.
So you're protecting yourself. You're
Oh,
protecting
that's
yourself,
protection. Okay.
because that's your output. Because you're naturally using your right hand. Because that's your
Okay.
output. Because you don't want
So
any negative energy and you don't want to lose any energy.
yeah, and the left
Yeah.
hand, the energy can go in because it's a receiver. Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly. So your left hand is the receiver. Now you're very
Mm.
unlikely to use your left hand or your left foot even to walk in a certain direction. And
Mm,
I think that's because your body is telling you, oh, that's the input, that's the receptive.
mm,
So when you start using both hands to shake someone's hand, it's probably because you know them really well. If you hold their elbow with your left hand and shake with the right hand, it's probably because you trust them more, or you have a different relationship, maybe a closer relationship with them.
mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you're doing it all the time. If you hit someone or push them away, you are always going to use your right hand. Now, if you have a person that's reverse polarity, then they are from the Eastern Hemisphere, because all of that spins around the other way.
Ah, so are there more
Yeah.
more left-handed people in the East?
Yes. Do you know that they even read books the other way around?
Yes,
The
yes,
whole language is back to front.
yeah, right. That's a good point. Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
And do you know the difference between the Nazi and the Buddhist swastika?
Well, yeah, some people say they're spinning different directions. Yeah.
Different directions. And do you know why they're in different directions? Like,
I guess one's
what's that
positive
rule
and
they're
receiving, and
following?
one's negative and blocking.
Right. Well, they're actually mimicking the movement of water. So on
Ah,
the this is insane. But anyway, the
okay.
so if you're in Asia, water, when you pour water into a sink, it actually turns like anti-clockwise, as opposed to in the West where it turns clockwise. So
Okay.
every time you see something that was built for water to flow a certain direction, then you know which part of the this clock face kind of thing. If you move different parts
Yeah.
of a clock face, you get a different toroidal rhythm, a different field.
Mm. Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting because most people say the difference is north to south, not east to west. But east to west would make sense if you're looking at it as like the energy field, the electromagnetic energy field, right?
Yeah, so the yin and yang is actually a model, and I don't know
That's
why
that.
people aren't saying this. The yin and yang is actually a model of how the field works, and coincidentally, how the sun and moon moves on a flat Earth map. But I'm not going to get into that today. But
Yeah.
but yes, yes.
Yeah.
So this is
Right.
like a really ancient symbol in all the Buddhist temples, right? So
Mm.
this is a magnetic symbol. So I'm thinking, as far as the Buddhists are concerned, is magnetism and electricity the same thing? Is it just the one chi power? And should we not really maybe separate them? Which is crazy, really, if you think about it. So that is actually the way that a magnet attracts two, like magnets attracts like metal shards.
Metal.
So you
Yeah.
have this like oval, which is the geometry of a lot of fruit, like an apple. So
Yep. Yep.
so uh so
The
that's the yin and
Taurus.
yang.
Yeah.
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 So these ancient symbols are ancient for a reason. And I mean, obviously, there are negative connotations with the Western swastika, but I think at one point the swastika was not part of some kind of Nazi socialist
Well,
empire.
yeah. And that whole narrative as
Yeah,
well is, a little bit
yeah, it's
dodgy.
very questionable. Yeah, I think it's another case of things added on a rewritten history, because
Mm.
even Canada had a hockey team that had the swastika on.
Yes,
Uh,
I've seen that photo. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
like an
And there's
old
a
photo.
building in America. They say it's from one of the world's fairs and it's got a line of swastikas around the bottom. And it was
Oh,
apparently
okay.
rebuilt in the 50s or 60s, like after World War II. So that's interesting. So I think that's another narrative, but
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot. There's, I think, a lot of hidden information within those kind of like symbols.
mm,
But it's interesting that they have had some kind of relevance in both half, or in the West and the East. Or I mean, why are we saying North and East? Sorry, North, South, East, West. I mean, I think to some extent, North and South matter more. So maybe the East and West differentiation is kind of, we only use East and West, I think, because there is some kind of more complicated electromagnetic field in the center. So we have to
mm,
know where we are. But all all compasses are pointing north. So there is definitely
Well, that's the other
some
thing.
magnetic force
Yeah,
in the center,
yeah. On a
and
flat
that's why
Earth,
I think,
it's
yeah,
north, and then south is just opposite to north, right? And east and west are just left and
it's
right.
just it's just anywhere right behind you,
Mm,
you know.
yeah.
So yeah, how would that work on a globe? I mean, that's a really good question. Like, why is there a particular point on a globe? Because there should be two axes, right? Yeah,
Mm,
but I do think there's an argument to be made that the yin and yang is actually a electromagnetic symbol for
mm.
all life energy on Earth, and I think it's also it also used to be a compass because they would use magnetic stones to move across water in ancient China. This is
Okay.
like the Han Dynasty. That's how they would sort of
Navigating.
decide kind of on their fortune and navigate.
Oh, okay.
And then I mean the Moors had a like the very earliest compass was called the astrolabe, and they would look through the split in these like wafers of like copper and or wafers of like very thinly cut metal, and they would already know where the meridian was, the meridian line, everything, just by looking at the sun because it had that constant figure eight
Yeah,
path that it would follow.
An Illuma, is that what it's called? The figure eight.
Luna, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they did view these two heavenly bodies as being their guides, and then you do have obviously records of the North Star, and people once they realized something was happening, even the Chinese, and I think one of those three wise men was Chinese because they also were watching the stars, and if something new appeared in the sky, they would have straight away been there.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. But I
yeah.
feel like we have a lot of Chinese history separated from Western history because once those overlap, you do you do uncover the Tartarian Empire, and I think yeah, and I think there have to be other important reasons why they're hiding all of that. Because I think the knowledge about the human body, these ancient what we call Chinese medicine today, um, uh, d- will teach us that we should never be cutting into the human body. We should never be, looking for an alternative
Mm,
to recalibrating ourselves. I mean, fasting is mentioned in the Bible so many times, and but some of those scriptures have been removed. They were actually removed
yeah, right.
in the King James version. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
Interesting.
so
I'd
yeah. So I mean,
agree.
I think the Chinese used to fast for like one day and then eat one day. Older people here in Taiwan spend like maybe sometimes 2 days not eating. And I think the more period of time that you spend not eating, let's say you get to the point where you're fasting for 2 days, eating one day, fasting for 2 days. I don't think you'd ever get sick. I I think you'd live like all these Buddhist monks hidden in their monasteries.
Mm,
I think you could start like all of this telepathy, being able to communicate with animals, things that we associate with like superheroes and things, and
yeah.
and and I think levitation, all of that, like being able to even control your own metabolism or slowing down your heartbeat. I think
Yeah.
longevity only really happens when you start to rely on your body as opposed to we are always encouraged to
Well,
eat, right? I mean, most people
mm,
eat every day, and
yeah.
it's very strange not to.
We
You know?
definitely eat too much. I mean, even 3 meals a
Yeah,
day is too much, I think. But that's what we're taught. Energy, we're taught energy comes from food, right? Which is probably completely wrong, and especially the food today.
yeah,
But yeah, so that probably is eating up energy, right? Whereas if we just let the
right.
natural ether energy in and use that, then we get empowered.
Yes. No, I think that we are looking at the body wrong. I think we have to realize most of our energy, our life force, doesn't come from food at all.
Yeah.
It's like we can self-generate. It's not just like people inventing great, vehicles that run on air or water or something. I think our body already has that infrastructure. I think we have those devices, and
Yeah,
we're kind of just
right.
waiting to kind of open that to wake that up.
Well, wouldn't that
I
be
mean, I don't
cool?
believe we should live in a monastery, high altitude, shave off our hair or anything. Like you can still have a normal life. It's just try to start maybe trying to learn from other like uh cultures and maybe other opinions because I think we're killing ourselves.
Well,
I think in
we
the
are.
West, our the whole machine, the Western culture, the machine is run on people dying. If people don't
Yeah,
die,
yeah,
then there's a lack of like organs
yeah,
to go around maybe that we need because that's our religion. It's almost
yeah,
religious, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And it goes back to
we are
law as
cursing
well.
ourselves. We are eating
It's
trash.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I'd agree with that. Yeah, and we only get
mm.
one opinion in the West. Like most people like don't study
Yeah.
Eastern philosophy and all this kind of stuff and ancient stuff. So we get this one narrative, and it's all. I mean, you just got to look at the Western world, right, to see that everyone's getting sicker faster, dying younger, breaking down. So it's
Mm.
clearly not working what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah, it's very unfortunate. Yeah, when you think about the food we eat. Did you know that McDonald's, Burger King, I think Wendy's as well, are like the three biggest fast food chains. None of them actually own farms
Yes,
or slaughterhouses or
I've
any beef
heard that.
manufacturing. If someone told you Mercedes-Benz don't own a single production line that makes car engines, you think that's insane. That's madness.
Mm.
Like there's a real problem there,
Yeah,
you
oh,
know?
I totally agree.
I mean,
Yeah,
because they own a lot of hospitals, I'm just saying, like, they
yeah.
own a lot of hospitals.
McDonald's.
Yes,
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
McDonald's actually own hospitals, but they don't own a single farm or
Oh my God. Wow. What's
slaughterhouse.
in the meat, right? There's been a lot of discussion about that.
Yeah,
Where's it all coming from? There doesn't seem to be enough cows. But I mean, if they own hospitals, where
yeah,
people are dying and getting bits taken out. Or not,
yeah.
I haven't touched anything like that in decades. But I mean, if you are out there, don't do it. You could be cannibalizing someone.
I think there's like uh fetus they found fetus like particles from baby fetuses in almost all our
Burgers.
food products.
Oh my
Like Coca-Cola, energy drinks.
God.
They put
Another
them
thing
in
to
all of
stay
that.
away from. Don't touch those.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's what I've heard. I mean I'm not these are people's theories, but
Mm.
yeah, yeah, it does make you think. Like, I mean, I still do eat meat sometimes, and I still drink energy drinks, but yeah, there's certain ones to avoid, I think. Like, I think, yeah, some of the like Coca-Cola definitely have to avoid that.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and probably Red Bull and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah. I
Yeah,
actually drink that stuff. So it's like I
yeah,
have to try to apply that to myself. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
where's
and
all the
that's
beef coming
interesting, right? They
from?
call
Yeah.
them energy drinks, but I mean, they're going to be doing the opposite, right? They might give you a boost, like a short boost, but in the end, it's going to be messing with your energy system and giving you less energy.
Yes.
So you need to
Yeah.
drink more.
Yeah, there's so much to learn, so much to apply to our own lives. Yeah, but that's hard, right? I mean, everyone's
Yeah.
having a roast dinner, and you have to then say, you know what? I think it's time for me to say something. Like, I think I'm gonna become vegan or something. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I'm starting to maybe gonna probably starting to do that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just like,
so
yeah,
hard.
always
I'm definitely gonna
very.
start not eating pork first. After doing some of this research, in preparation, I'm definitely not gonna eat pork. The amount of parasites in pork.
I've
Yeah,
heard it's the worst one. And obviously try and
yeah,
get organic meat, grass fed, all this stuff, because I'm very picky when I buy meat because, the bulk of it is coming from cows in sheds fed grain, which is not natural, standing in their
mm,
own crap, getting sick, and then they get pumped full of
yeah,
hormones and antibiotics and stuff. And you don't want to be eating that.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the problem with pork, of course, the animal itself was always considered unclean in like in the old world.
Yep.
And it does have a lot of parasites, but it's similarities to the human,
So human, I know
anatomical,
it's,
you
yeah,
know. And then I was talking to Guy about a story where uh Jesus cast demons into pigs
yeah.
because he didn't
And
want
they
to
ran
let
in the river.
them
Yeah, yeah,
run amok in the city, and they ran all of these pigs into the off a cliff into the sea. So
yeah.
there was like some crazy references. Then you will also see the heart transplants that incorporate
Yes. Yeah, yeah. They use
swine,
pig
right?
hearts. Yep, yep. And also
Yeah.
skin
So
grafts, don't they? Because it's so similar to ours. They do skin grafts with it as well, I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like how much beef, sorry, how much pork and beef and meat is actually farmed? The amount of farmed meat or beef, let's say, in the USA.
Well,
Have you ever looked at the figures? Like
yeah,
how much?
yeah. It's nowhere near enough. I know that.
It's about 30 million cows, I think.
Yep,
But the consumption of beef uh, in in the United States is about 78 million
yep.
cows worth. So let's say they're importing another 20 million. That's a lot
But
of that.
but even
That's a
that doesn't work
crazy
because
amount
where
of
are they
food.
importing it from? Because the people in the other
Yeah,
countries need their meat too, right? I
yeah.
mean,
There's not enough meat.
I live near cattle country, and I've driven through it like for hours, and you hardly see any. Like I drove through it for like 2.5 hours, and like we saw one little group of like 10 cows, but
Yeah.
it's cattle country, so it's yeah,
Well, you have to be if you're in these fast food restaurants, and everyone seems to go, like they even have drive-throughs so they can serve like thousands of people a day. And
yeah,
there's literally like tens of thousands of these restaurants operating, right? Different franchises, McDonald's, Wendy's, In-N-Out Burger, right?
yeah,
Burger King, and they're all serving meat. And so you have like 70 million pounds worth of meat. It says 78 million a day. That's just the United States. So there aren't enough cows. I don't think in North America for that.
no,
If you can import all you like, you're never going to fill that quota. You
yeah,
can't
yeah,
be serving living animals that have been slaughtered. You can't
mm,
be. You're either serving genetically grown beef, which I don't know where the laboratories are to grow that kind of amount of meat, or you're actually serving human meat. You're cannibalizing the entire world because that's the only way to destroy this salt battery, uh, homogeneous kind of self-replicating creature.
yeah,
We
right,
have to be poisoned on a daily basis with cannibalism, with all the worst low frequency things that are very easily listed in almost every religion. Every religion is against cannibalism. The concept is abhorrent to almost any sane human being.
yeah,
Yet they are getting us to eat each other in the fast food restaurants.
yeah. That's
They don't
definitely
have
what
to
it
own
looks
any
like.
slaughterhouses. McDonald's does not need to buy a single farm. They just need to own hospitals. It is sick. It is sick,
It
but someone has
is.
to just say it. Let's say it in layman's terms. You are consuming human meat. You are cannibalizing. You are cannibalizing. That's how they keep you depressed. That's how you get that low frequency where you actually become ill. I think if you stop eating like fast food, I think a lot of people would feel better within a few weeks, and they probably would
Oh,
get ill.
totally.
They
I
would
mean, to
get ill
me,
rarely. You know.
fast food means you should fast from it, right?
Yes, yes, 100%. Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
crazy one.
such an important part of our life. So
Mm.
I like to show you a few
Yeah,
images. because I think that you just have to take other people's scientific studies, and you can prove, I think, within a few minutes that the heart is not a pump, and
Yeah.
that we are being lied to about that.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
I think that's very empowering for us. Yeah, as independent autodidactic researchers, which is what we all are. We are all doing what you told us to do during COVID. Wake up and do our own work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we can look into ourselves. We do, we have a lot of resources, and yeah. So I think it's always been the case that the human body has been strengthened through electromagnetic connection with the earth. So this is elaborate type of Tartarian grounding where you are walking. And I know you've probably seen this hundreds of times, but in case
Mm.
anyone watching hasn't, like this is how we are charged. We are charged by kinetic energy where we move, shuffle, or step onto these beautiful, elaborate celebrations of the human heart vortex, or in my theory, the golden ratio muscle, this Gordian knot, which is what Francisco Torren Frask called it. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so my theory is that all of these great Tartarian cities on these energy ley ley lines, something that was discovered by Michelle Gibson,
Yes.
we are all charged continuously from the ground up. Now, I think that our shoes would have metallic or copper screws or nails,
Yep.
or some kind of connection,
Yep.
um, because they did in one of the oldest civilizations in Peru. Everybody had metal on their soles of their feet, and they were dancing. Even Samarkand has metallic little paving stones in between the cheaper copper ones, which were mixed with obviously iron. Terracotta is iron, right? Terra firma, terra, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so this is an important part of that. Um,
Mm. And now we're all wearing rubber soles, right? Which is an insulator from that.
yes, so I think the insulator, the being told our hearts are pump, it's all connected. This is all connected. Eating human meat when we think it's beef. This is all connected. This is all trying to destroy some of that 100,000 watts that we produce on a daily basis. Because that's the life force. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing that for a minute. That's just my introduction. That's not the main part. Now, if we look at the actual heart itself, and so the heart comes apart in a very interesting way. And I can prove just using pacemakers, defibrillators, all of this, I can prove that they already know this. So this is a photo from the 1950s, I think. This is Francesco Torrent Frask. This is a cow's heart, but it works the same way as a human heart. And obviously, a cow is a mammal, and the heart um, uh, comes undone in this all of these fibers kind of roll into a Tesla coil. So here is the guy
Yeah.
doing this, demonstrating some of the research. And as I say, many people visited this physician, I think he was, and they agreed with him, but nothing changed in the West. None of the education system, none of the doctors changed the way that they operate. Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah.
this opens up. These are not chambers holding liquid and then pushing it through tiny arteries, millions of little, veins. That's just not the way it works. I think the blood is being moved by electricity. Yeah. And this is a diagram which shows this X marks the spot kind of theory that maybe a lot of symbolism comes from this. I think the symbolism has been taken from the human heart for quite some time. I think people worship the heart as the central sort of um, uh, energy vortex, if you like. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting our blood's full of iron, right? Which
Yes.
which
Yeah.
magnetic, right? Magnets attract iron. So with, the whole
Yeah.
magnetic, electromagnetic ether, that would make sense that it's just, yeah, it's self-propelling itself
Yeah. You've got
through the
iron in your blood.
mm,
Yeah. I mean, everything fits into this theory, even if you didn't plan for that initially. So,
mm,
this is it's called a myocardial cardial ventricular band. That was what he called it. Now, there are two theories of the heart and understanding the true nature. This is AI. Um, what I've done here, is I've compared these, and I can tell you how many things are answered by the theory that the heart is this biological energy generator as opposed to a pump. So one, you would have been told at school. This is me writing down everything that I found out from the research and putting it into AI.
yeah,
So you have an electromagnetic coil model, where you got the claimed energy output. This is 100,000 watts per day. It did add alternative theory, which it likes to do because it is controlled in the end by, you know,
mm,
yeah, by the powers that be, the elites, right? So,
mm,
core. You've got the core idea, which is that the heart is a primary electromagnetic generator, as opposed to what we're taught at school, or were taught at school, that the heart is a muscular pump that uses energy from the body.
mm.
Uh, Now, for it to push blood to the extremities, it I mean, that is simply impossible anyway. Just logically, to push blood to tiny, minuscule, almost microscopic arteries that you have in your fingers and toes, there has to be some other energy involved anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, just pumping all of that blood. I mean, you'd have to have arteries that are the same size as the chambers of the heart next to it, just for that to physically work.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
because you're going to get all kinds of issues if your heart palpitations are too fast. Does that mean blood is moving with more pressure? If you become scared, that almost doesn't make sense. Like, you definitely need more energy in your muscles, but by the time the blood sugar gets to your muscles, it will already be too late if you were in fact running from a wild animal, let's say.
Mm,
So for me, the logic
yeah.
doesn't make sense either.
Well,
Like,
and
what's the point, you know?
blood doesn't even move around the way it should. Like if it's moving because the heart's pumping, shouldn't it be
Mm.
like move, move, move? But it flows constantly, right, at a constant rate.
Yeah, that's another good point. Like, I mean, because the pump has to probably like contract and then
Mm,
release, and it has to sort of like your eye, right? If you're focusing on an object far
yeah,
away.
yeah,
So that in itself, I mean, and then of course there's the very obvious issue that the heart is too small for that entire process anyway.
yeah. And
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 the amount of
like your
muscle that you
picture
would need,
shows, it's
right?
now in the
Yeah.
middle. When I grew up, the heart was on
Yeah.
the left side, but now it's in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah. So like there should be more issues with people, and the furthest extremities. Like if you have any sort of issue, it's going to start, I guess, in your left hand. But I mean, both of those are completely different electromagnetic charges. If you look at the biological energy generator theory, and all of this makes sense because now you get the heart as a muscle that is a muscle only because it has to twist, and it has to generate electricity. So it only really has to coil, has to like move up and down.
Mm,
And we see this with the dynamo, right? A dynamo works in that way. So we see it in other things, a very similar process to generate kilowatts. So the current flows in loops. Now, if the current flows in loops, you're basically drawing your shoulders, you're drawing your arms, you're drawing your thighs. You're basically almost drawing a human abdomen if you draw the lines of energy flow. So of course that's the way your body is going to look. physically manifest itself. It's going to look like that. Every animal, every fruit and vegetable is going to grow like that. The seeds of a fruit would, if it's on the outside, it's going to be still in that kind of toroidal geometry. So,
Mm.
so the field radiates energy and information. Now, radiating heat is many old Tartarian buildings used to rely on humans radiating heat within the archways. So they were building the architecture for something that was that size. So you're going into the archway, your body heat radiates and interacts with this magnetic pull in the archway. So that's also in like Japanese rock gardens. You go through the gate because you want to recalibrate, you want to relax, you want to be like change your frequency back to something positive. So you go to your chi garden through this archway, and it's built for you to balance your energy. So I think everything works electrically if people really understand human energy.
Yeah.
So you have a a body system that is energized and synchronized, yeah, by the field. And it's given me a lot of extra information here that I didn't really think about, like cymatics and the frequency of sound being able to recalibrate you too. And of course, that's beautiful because that's exactly what we've been, talking about for many years now. That every town used to have a bell tower to recalibrate everyone's energy in the afternoon so that they could have a sleep, they could have a nap, they could, you probably didn't you probably be reminded that someone sort of like knows how to cure a problem that you have, or oh, that's the bell, so everyone's thinking about recalibration or resting. And I think the further we go back, almost the more supportive I think the infrastructure was to longevity and positive thoughts. Yeah. It's also added some meditation. You have this anecdotal reports of healing, intuition, and energetic sensitivity. So I think AI knows exactly what to say, and it knows exactly what I'm talking about. And it's obviously ready to give us the information. We just have to know what to ask for, kind of thing. Yeah, so this didn't take long to like make. I wrote down my ideas, and it added a lot of extra information here.
Yeah.
To
Yeah. It's
like, I mean,
cool
it's saying
graphics.
that there are people supporting this theory, or even in the medical field today. So
Yeah. Right.
yeah, so I think if we are a battery, then you can see here that the defibrillator is trying to build an extra circuit that isolates the heart, giving it a little bit of rest, if you like. So if the heart is no longer in the circuit but is kind of excluded from the circuit for a few seconds, it has enough time to recharge itself because it is in fact generating electricity. If the heart was
Okay.
was super crucial to the whole network, then you wouldn't want to put more electricity into the body. Surely you'd be trying to siphon electricity out because there's too much electricity going to the
To,
heart because you're
to
having
to
a heart
relax
attack.
it down. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're relaxing the heart. That's the science. Yeah. So
Mm.
so there are electrons stored in your body, and you want those to pass through the patient and exclude the heart from the circuit because too much electricity is being taken from it and it's having to work overtime. So it is generating electricity. It's not using and it our energy that is being generated by our metabolism.
Mm.
Yeah. So there you have the pacemaker, which is electricity, which is this electrical device. Sorry, this is implantable cardioverter defibrillator. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so so that's adding more electrical energy. Yeah. So I'm not sure about all of the medication that people are being given. If you're being given heart medication
Mm.
and everyone believes that the heart is a pump, how can that possibly be the right thing to take? This is something that I'm a bit concerned about because this is black and white. This is not like I mean, this was not a theory in the 1950s. It's definitely not a theory today. This is people in I think in Sweden maybe are looking at the heart as this electric device as opposed to a pump.
Mm.
Already, yeah, I think in Stockholm there's a doctor already doing this, and they also have there are also some railway stations in France that take body heat to generate electricity. They call it bioenergy.
Yeah, right.
So this is already happening. This is this is just something that we're not talking about. That people maybe in maybe the States, I think things usually start, or in Britain things get tried out. But they are already taking heat from people walking. There are kinetic pavements. There is a kinetic pavement that I saw someone build uh,
Yeah.
in the UK where you're walking and the paving stones are actually moving as you're walking, and that's electricity. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I have heard of
so
those. Yeah,
it is
yeah.
something that's happening.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's
Interesting.
very much something
I mean,
that people are using. Yeah.
I'm just because obviously there's a lot of pictures of Jesus where he's got his heart and it's always got rays coming out of it, right? They tell us that's light, but I mean, is that trying to say that's electricity? That's energy.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, calling it electricity might also be like an issue. Maybe if we called it life force, or
Yes.
like in Chinese, it has like a really old word, qi, which is almost like
Chi.
magic.
Yeah. And they used to
Yeah,
use prana and things like this. Yeah, no, I agree. Electricity is the
yeah,
closed circuit, right? The smokeless fire, the false light, the jinn.
yeah. There's some negative words for it too, but yeah, I mean, you could call it life energy, divine divinity, maybe divine power. I mean, if you call it electricity or you give it some modern name, then you're associating it with like the industrial era, right? And something that was shown to everybody in the world fairs for the first time, and
Mm.
and you're going to end up talking about like Edison or Tesla, right, and the first light bulb. But actually, we shouldn't be talking about it in that context. We should be saying that this is life energy that we all generate. It's kind of a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is connected to the golden ratio. I think it's connected to these old world mathematical sequences, and I think that I think the architecture does also show us that. I think if we look at just the geometry of like a city, or the materials used within like old churches, because you've got churches that are like using electricity to kind of elevate people's consciousness.
Yeah.
So I think it's Orvieto has a cathedral which uses this white travertine stone and a black greenish basalt, and it's constantly sandwiching those materials on top of each other, and then that is generating this high energy. So when you're going into that building, you're gonna feel the energy. It's almost like it has a medical sort of quality to it.
Mm.
Like yeah. So I mean, you're being cured of your ills, and yeah, and I think that's the complete understanding of the human body and all of its functions.
Mm.
But we are constantly being told things or given information that is going to disturb that, and I think a lot of us are just too young, or like compared to the ancients. Like if you think about like Noah, a lot of biblical people lived to like 800, 900 years old, and they
Yes.
were obviously
Yeah.
able to learn a lot in that time. and they were able to learn a lot about how everything actually works in this way. Everything is geometry, like everything is this balanced geometry.
Mm.
And yeah, and it's not just the heart. But I think could something negative happen to you, or could someone be constantly stealing your energy away from you? And I think that's kind of the age we're living in. That's this
Mm.
kind of point in human history where we are trying to overcome the sort of negative energy.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Uh,
they showed us that in the
yeah,
Matrix, right? With
yeah,
the batteries, and then the robots that are happening now. They're the inverse of that, right? They're the human body inverted because you've got to feed them energy, for a robot to work. It doesn't create its own,
yes,
right? Yeah. So it's literally the false light body.
yes. I mean, I think that the realm was not constructed by these people, but I think that our history was written by these people.
Yeah.
And because I'm also thinking that the history, the food we eat, the all the information we get, the constant stress with all kinds of wars happening, no matter which president, which party you vote for, you always get the same outcome
Yeah.
because it's the only sort of the only kind of construct that seems to work with humans. So if you think about how everything is connected to your body's vibration, and you can have low vibrations and high vibrations. So,
Mm.
so a water part, this water principle that obviously we're told we're 80% water. So anything that affects our water, is going to have an impact on how our chakras work. And then you have the air principle and the fire principle. So these three different entities. So you could say it's always three. I mean, if you look at a Chinese temple, it's three. If you look at the archways of a church, it's three.
Three. Yeah.
A- And I don't think it's like God or Holy Spirit necessarily. I think it could be water, air, fire. So ether,
Oh, yeah. The Trinity, right?
exactly the Trinity. It's an ancient Hindu text too that you have these three-faced gods with through the three different directions that they're looking.
Mm.
Uh, so I think water then is recalibrated by this electrical. So there's a lot for our body to do. It's recalibrating the water. It's utilizing the air, the ether, and then we have this energy inside us, this really powerful chi energy, this life energy, the fire. And yeah, I mean, I don't think saying hello is a good idea because you're literally saying "oh hell," and you're literally pulling yourself back down. It's the same when you are using your voice frequency to say good morning. Well, what are you mourning? Well, you mourn after a wake. It's the death of a person, right? So,
Mm.
so should you be saying good morning? Should you be saying days of the week? Or should you be saying consciousness of the strong? Because
I
all
know.
these words
Yeah.
have meanings.
Days of
So
the
English
week.
is
Yeah.
very much a fallen English language that is
Totally.
destroying.
The working
Yeah.
week at the end, your weekend,
Yes. You're
it's,
weakened. It's the
yeah.
end of the week. You're weakened. Do I
Mm.
want to keep saying that? Should we stop saying good morning? I mean, I think we should. I think we should stop saying good morning.
Yeah. 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 I mean, a lot of people say grand rising and things like this. So, people are getting onto it, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably a good
I mean,
idea
it's
to
definitely curses. I mean, we're cursing
cursive.
ourselves,
Yeah.
and you can add that onto the list, like cursing yourself, eating, you know, questionable meat, right? And then you're also sort of, yeah, constantly, you have this never-ending stream of information. Like, don't watch TV, don't watch the news. There's no, I mean, if you're interested in it, do it purely for entertainment purposes. Like,
Yeah.
you can't believe that there is wars with people dying. I mean, some of this. What if we're being lied to, and there's some ancient AI telling us all these things that are not really happening?
Well,
And
yeah, I think that's a
can we
definite
leave it to God?
possibility.
Because yeah,
Mm.
I mean, but I mean, if you don't believe in God, I think it could be also quite stressful because some people just say, "Oh, leave it to God," but then who do you leave it to if you don't have God? That's also interesting. I've been meaning to ask you, like, because if you don't, I mean, your personal beliefs are obviously none of anyone's business, unless you wish to talk about them. But it is kind of hard. Like, you do have to find out the truth. You can't just say, "Oh, it's I'll leave it to the creator, or God wouldn't allow this. I don't believe you're telling me the truth. But to some extent, I think that we shouldn't just say, oh, leave it to God. I think we should look into it. I think we should decipher the lies. I think we should
I
educate
mean,
ourselves.
yeah, it
Yeah.
says in the Bible, leave no stone unturned, right? You know,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
and ultimately, you know, God is within us and without us, right? It's omnipotent. It's the power that it's probably the power
Yeah.
that our bodies are generating, right? It's coming into us and out of us.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
ask yourself, but yeah,
Yeah, I do find that sometimes people get lazy when they say, oh, you know, oh, someone else will look after this, or I don't have to worry about this, or I'm not supposed to look into this, because there are a lot of false religions or false versions of Christendom that tell you you can't read any other publications by any other faith.
yes, yeah, I know,
And I
right?
think that's such a
Programming much.
terrible mistake. Yeah, I mean, there can't be a worse mistake, because these Satan worshippers, Luciferians, whatever they are called, they are definitely studying the Bible. You
Yeah,
know, they know exactly what all the symbolism is. They know who Moses is, Abraham, everybody. You know,
yeah. They
and
read it differently
yeah,
to us, right? Like, yeah, we're
they just
just,
read it differently. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so you have so this is the idea of the heart. This is a really old diagram, by the way. This is taken from ancient Assyrian hieroglyphs, because I think Assyria is arguably older than actually Egypt,
Okay,
because I think Babylon, the Babylonian zodiac, was found all over the Middle East, like Iran, Iraq, Syria. Yeah. So you also get the idea of burying people in a sarcophagus, which is this the idea that you could be reawoken and your body does not disintegrate, or it doesn't decompose within these large metallic sarcophagi. So people always talk about, oh, we found another mummy, we found another sarcophagi, but nobody spends enough time talking about how the bodies inside have not really decomposed at all. And I think this is because they understood that electromagnetic flow.
yeah,
But
right.
yes, we are doing ourselves a disservice by calling it electricity, because that always seems to link up to the industrial age and it didn't exist before. But it's an ancient power. It's an ancient energy. Yeah, and you have the positive one side, negative the other side. This is a diagram, I think, taken from one of those hieroglyphs. It's usually a staff or a sector with two snakes. So you have the yin and the
Yes,
yang,
yeah, the
and the brain in the
Carduceus,
center, and the
yeah.
wing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's interesting, right? Carduceus, cardiology. I don't know. Is there a link there?
Yeah, chemistry, it's
Yeah.
definitely connected. Yeah, all
Mm.
those words. Yeah, but yeah, even to say electricity. I mean, I think I talked to you about that before. There's so many like other words in that. They've obviously
Mm.
made that word with this like fallen angel language,
I,
this
I
English.
agree. The L, they're
Yeah,
the L, right? The L ites, the we L
yeah,
act, and yeah, it's Elon
yeah. They
Musk.
want us in the city. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they can take that energy. Right. So I mean, this shows that the heart interacts with the brain's electromagnetic field. So if the brain has its own electromagnetic field, we may be able to double the amount of kilowatts that we are creating within the human body. And I think we could probably really connect to, much like whales do over hundreds of miles. They have this ability to communicate, and they are also
Yes.
mammals, and they also have a very large frontal cortex, just
Yes.
like we do. And even the penguins seem to know where to go, even though you have this like I think Greenland, like in the Atlantic, the Antarctic, there's no real differentiation between any particular part of the landscape, so they have to use their pineal glands to communicate and to orientate themselves, to have some kind of global positioning.
Yep.
And they are studying penguins, specifically penguins, for that reason, because of this incredibly large pineal gland that they have, which is much larger than any other mammal. So I think, is it that we want
Right.
to decalcify, or do we actually want to calcify? This is another theory that I had, because these creatures are eating fish all the time, right? So
Yeah.
they're getting a lot of omega-3. They're getting a lot of fish oils. So are they calcifying the pineal gland to make it more powerful or decalcifying? Because I have always been told that we want to decalcify.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is a non-stop acidic diet that they're eating. So are
And
they calcifying and thereby duplicating its power?
yeah, and there's
Should we not
calcium
let people tell
carbonate.
us to decalcify? Yeah.
Now, in the ocean, it's all calcium carbonate, right? That's what shells are
It's
made of.
all
That's
calcium. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
salt. It's salt crystals.
Salt.
That's what
Yeah.
they're eating, drinking, breathing, right? That's in their eyes and their that's saturating the through the very skin of their bodies. So yeah, I'm thinking that maybe calcification is the plan as opposed to decalcification. Uh,
Interesting.
um, and that means we're building crystals within the human body.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, that's a good point.
So that's alchemy. So we may be the alchemists. Yeah, the great yeah, the chalice, right? Yeah, so I think once you realize it says here that everyone is usually projecting, then the percentage of like if everyone's projecting, then we are just this antenna. We are taking things down our spine into the different different generators that we have.
Mm.
So I think yeah, so your hair is picking up this information. If you don't want to pick up information, you don't really want hair. So your hair is like an antenna. But I think hair is crucial. I mean, hair is naturally being
I
constrained.
agree.
Your body is naturally growing hair. I think that's where your freedom of decision-making process come from.
Yeah, man, grow your
Some of the
hair.
grow your hair out, yes, and you look handsome too when you have long hair. I
Oh,
think
yes, of course you
like
do.
a wild man, you know. So yeah, criticism. Yeah, there's so much negativity. Everyone's projecting negativity. I find sometimes.
Yeah,
There's some rooms I can literally start to feel now that there's some rooms that I don't have time. Like I don't want to talk to certain people. I don't like you can shorten your circuit with your sorry, your thumb and your pinky, you can shorten your circuit if you feel like you have got in contact with someone who's taking energy, because there are also people taking energy, witches, warlocks that know what they're doing and they can take it from you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
They are out there for sure.
Yeah, so I really like some of these old Tartarian cities, the way they've been constructed. They almost look like a human body. So you got
All
two
right. Is that
arms,
the Louvre, is
multiple
it?
legs. Yeah, this is the Louvre in Paris. Um, yeah, I'm not sure about the Crystal Pyramid. I know that's really clever, but I think that the actual geometry of the city is mimicking the human body. And this one here is almost like a
Oh,
reproductive organ. It's a
yes, totally.
colonnade. I'm trying to remember where this one is. I did this in October, this post. I'm trying to remember where this one is. Not sure. Yeah, I didn't list them all, but I found some just to look at them as a geometrical pattern. Because I don't think that's for the benefit of people walking around. I think that is really designed to be a part of the human body. I think that's because we are told about the whole obelisk being Osiris's missing
Yep.
phallical
Palace.
symbol,
Yep.
phallus, and then all the other parts of the body they found, but they didn't find the phallus. It was eaten by a fish or something.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
ancient Egyptian. That's ancient Egyptian myth.
Yep.
This one I know. This is a Peking or Beijing today. It's called
Yep.
Beijing. So you have the face, the shoulders. This would be the face or the inner sanctum, the main kind of temple reserved for the emperor. Then you have the courtyard. Then you'd have like I mean, this would be your maybe sacral chakra, I would think, and then this would be yeah your courtyard. Then you'd have the root chakra here, and these two temples each side, like arms and legs, and this energy field, this chi energy around you, protecting you. Like yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they are building this because it's attractive. I think they're building this because this is how the energy flows throughout the city,
Yeah.
and this is and I think they could fly. I think they could have balloons or something where they could measure everything out, look at it from very
Yeah.
high up. I think they were really sophisticated.
Yeah,
And
or
interestingly enough,
airships, right? I mean, clearly, because I mean, a lot of the
yeah,
pictures we get from, the 15, 1600s, they're bird's eye view. Like, how does that work?
yes, yes. I mean, how do they get that perfectly? Like, I mean, that's not just. I don't think that's just measuring from the ground. I mean, it could be using maybe the stars, but I mean, I only just found out by talking to Tao Law the other day that in the Civil War they had helium balloons.
Yeah, right. I have actually, I have read that. Yeah,
So
that's
I
what they
mean, in the
say.
Civil War, like I
Yeah,
didn't know.
1860s, right? Oh,
So that's
yeah.
long before the airship age, right? So
Wow, was it? Or was the air, because clearly,
hmm,
that they've written the airships out of history because in the timeline, airships were only around for like 40, 50 years, maybe, right?
yes, yeah,
Like the very first rudimentary ones, 1880s, and then the Hindenburg in the 1930s, and it was all over Red
yeah.
Rover.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm absolutely on board with you. I think that the Hindenburg Zeppelin World War II narrative, even World War One, which is 1914, World War One started. So I think that that was the culmination of a previous empire's aeroplane aerodynamic travel
Yeah,
that they were able to generate using etheric energy.
I think so.
And
Yeah.
and I think everyone was copying everyone, and you can't really tell. I mean, a historic a historian will tell you there's a difference between Rome and Greece, but there is no difference.
There's nothing, no.
This is a complete lie. Like the Roman Moorish kind of architecture, and then the this kind of Greek kind of Creek Indian concept makes much more sense to me. That this was the same empire. It was just a decision by a historian at some point in time to separate them into two different ones.
It's almost like which one lasted better, which one got less damaged
Yeah,
in the reset, is Roman and the more
yeah,
damaged is
yeah.
Greek.
No, yeah, I think so. I think okay, anything that looks a little bit older is going to be Greek, and
Yeah.
then sometimes they make mistakes, like this one. Can you tell which one is Chinese and which one is Roman?
Oh, I would say the bottom one's Chinese, but they're very similar. It's the same pattern,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
which
you can't
is
tell, right? So
not
one is
really.
one
And
one actually, yeah, one actually was called Greek, but it's in India, and I think the other one, the other one is supposed to be Roman. Yeah,
yeah,
but
right.
it's absolute misinformation. It's just some person, part of some kind of cult or secret group of people came up with a theory, and it doesn't hold water, because you can find that architecture in China, you can find it in Europe, in Africa, you can find that
Yeah,
in I
Australia.
think Chicago. I've seen the same in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
it's a
yeah. So
Carduceus too. That pattern, right? It's the Carduceus, the what do they call it? The energy that runs up through your chakras, the Kundalini. It's all the same kind of
yep.
thing, right?
Yeah, it's the meandering line. Yeah, it's the same kind of theory, but they embellish it in different ways. Like this one looks like it's got a lotus blossom. The other one looks like they're trying to do this acanthus flower, which they loved in Rome apparently. But you can see that everywhere. You can see that in Chicago. Downtown Chicago. You can see that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So so that's I think very kind of esoteric. That's as kind of ancient as it gets. But where did they get that information from? And that's what fascinates me. That's what I started doing in February of this year. Before I moved on to the human body, I was trying to prove that all of this information comes from nature, because I think everything, if those large structures are based on the human body, the skull, the thighs, the shoulders, the arms, the legs, um, then then surely that also has to be in nature, because we are the perfect organism to experience reality. And I've kind of seen that in nature. I mean, I can go back to the cities as well, especially the star forts and the connection there, which
Well,
I
and
know
that's
you've
another thing
spoken
about,
on. I don't want to talk about that too much because that's your pretty much your
but
that's your field.
like
But
Star Force,
yeah,
one of them today they're called batteries too, right? So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
is that's got to be linked in somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they've even the human body, they've made that negative. Like 666, they say it's now sign of the devil, right?
Yeah,
But it's actually not. It's it's nothing to do with like the devil. It's actually nothing to do with any biblical thing as such.
No,
It's
it's all programming, right? Even 33 people, because they use it a lot. People, it's bad about 33 means ascension. The
yeah, yeah.
666, I mean, there's lots of explanations, but the carbon molecule as
Yes,
well.
carbon 12, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
So you
lots
got
out there.
six protons, six neutrons, six
Six
electrons. That's the
electrons.
human body.
Yeah.
So they're tricking you into hating yourself, saying that
Yeah.
you are somehow the mark of the beast, which is
Yeah.
completely
And
evil.
we're
It's
carbon,
just
right?
like those curses, right? When they get you to say good morning or hello or the weekend, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And it's also what was I going to say? I've forgotten now. I'll remember in a minute.
Yeah, no, I think you were talking about when you get like a lot of numerology being used in like the
Yeah.
Kirk murders and the assassinations,
Yeah.
and now there was a famous guy from Ancient Aliens that just died,
From
Wilcox.
David Wilcock, yeah. Guy.
But uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure they have changed maybe how they spelt his name. I thought it was with an X at the end. Ancient Aliens. Maybe
I
they're doing
think,
something with the
yeah, I
name.
mean, yeah, now I think about it, because yeah, now it's Wilcock, isn't it? CK, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
think
wasn't Wilcox. It was
Wilcox.
definitely Wilcox. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, I think you're right.
and three other people died this year from the Ancient Aliens a writers pool that they were using.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So I think that there's also a lot of numerology there. I think it's 53 days he died 53 days before the release of Spielberg's new movie.
The disclosure one.
Yeah, so someone posted that in the comments in my post on Facebook and Instagram. So people are really fast now working that out. But
Yeah,
but but
yeah.
but the amount of times they use the number 33, the 33 vertebrae in your backbone, the
Yeah,
12 ribs on each side of your body. So you get the number 12 used a lot, number 33. Then you have
yep.
um the floating ribs and the connected ribs to your backbone. There's like seven ribs connected, and then you have all of these days we keep using, right? Like Saturday, Saturn, which is basically Apollo, which is obviously Satan, right? That's Lucifer. So
Mm.
so we're having to say these words, and all we're talking about is what day of the week we want to go shopping or something.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think without those curses, would we be healthier? Would we be a higher frequency? You know?
Well, that's the thing
Yeah.
about words and spelling is that it creates a certain frequency, right? Certain tone, like it's a sound frequency.
It is, it is. But
Mm.
I would like to take back Saturn from them, and I'd like to prove that it's actually beautiful and good.
Well,
Just like 666.
I think in the end, most of it is right, and
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
just all been inverted, and we've been given weird meanings and stuff for them, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, is anything good or bad apart from if we think it? I mean, I do
Yes,
wonder
yeah.
about the sound that we're making, and that's
Mm.
going to have an effect on something. But yeah, I mean, it's all like you say, they're getting us to hate ourselves, to hate the earth, to hate nature. It's all a simulation. Oh, that's what I was going to say before. Climate change and all this kind of stuff. Global warming. It's all about getting rid of the carbon. We're carbon.
Yeah, what's the carbon footprint?
Yeah, it's us. It's our soul, right?
Right. Oh no, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it's always like, isn't it about carbon? Isn't that everything? Carbon tax, carbon
It's all carbon.
pollution.
Carbon credits, carbon emissions, reduce the carbon, and we're the
We are
carbon.
the carbon, aren't we?
We are the carbon.
Yeah, yeah. So is this all connected to Agenda 21? What is Agenda 21?
21, yeah, and then there's Agenda 30. So 21's 21st century, and Agenda 30 is what they're trying to get in by 2030. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is, and it's all connected into the smart cities and the electric cars and the tracking and all this kind of stupidity.
Changing consumption patterns,
Yeah,
changing the human body forever. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so it's under the guise of helping the environment, but with all these chemtrails, I just don't see how that's the agenda at all. I don't,
yeah, and
I
pumping all
think,
their
yeah.
poison into the water and all the ships dumping oil and crap here. I mean, yeah, but it's just to blame us again. It's like
Yeah,
we know that all this stuff's been done by big business, big industry, right? We don't own the big industries. That's all the allies who are doing it, but they love to blame us.
yeah.
It's all our fault.
Yeah, I am suspicious that we are much more powerful than we realize. And I think that we may even think that there's these incredibly powerful weapons around, like nuclear weapons and all this terrible, everything's imminent, the end of the world is imminent, global warming, flooding, typhoons, earthquakes. But maybe none of this really can happen near a high frequency person. They would
Yeah.
just push that away because I really do believe we are manifesting reality, which leads me on to something I wanted to discuss briefly about the hexagon or the Saturnalian belief that because I think that the hexagon is actually the most divine of physical structures, and then so this is the number six. I would like to slowly turn the number six into a positive thing because it's being given to us as a negative. So this
Mm.
is the hexagon. The hexagon is what honeybees build.
Yes.
That's what they're programmed to construct.
Yeah.
And I think honeybees are just a small mirror of our entire realm. I think we're living underneath a hexagon dome-like crystallized water structure, which is this silica crystal that I believe is being constructed out of um, uh, the elements that we need to breathe. So electromagnetic elements. So so the honeybee constructs the hexagon because it is the best geometrical structure with the least amount of waste, or the strongest um, uh, you know a cascading sharing of pressure from its neighbors. So how do I explain that? Well, if the bee is creating this, that's because the bee sees the world in a hexagonal shape. And I believe that the bee is just creating what it is already seeing. And I think we are creating what we're seeing. So our eyes are pretty much a map of the world projecting light as opposed to light or understanding being given to us externally all the time. I think that we have to behave within those three dimensions, whereas I'm not sure if bees are only in three dimensions. I'm not sure if all insects are actually creating vortexes as opposed to flying. They're also creating a fourth or fifth dimension so that they can maneuver. I think honeybees are a really good example of that. I think beetles, like beetle casings, could be another one of those.
Yeah, have you seen that flying board where he covered the bottom of it in beetle wings
Yes.
and it
Yeah.
levitates? Yeah, yeah, and it's just the
Yeah.
geometry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That is undeniable proof. I think that
Mm.
insects are creating vortexes with
Well,
the Russian scientists. Yeah. Yeah.
the bumblebee, right? Remember, like back in the 50s or whatever, they proved scientifically that it couldn't fly.
Yeah. The weight
The
doesn't make
weight
any
to
sense.
to lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if the bee, I mean, the bees are giving us this information. This is the creation that we are supposed to experience, right?
Mm.
So we are seeing it create. I mean, honey obviously must be incredibly healthy if they're creating this almost magically using nectar. Then they're carrying the pollen
Yeah.
and their own bodies and somehow flying. I don't know how that's happening. I mean, that's
It's
definitely not being
not.
explained by science.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Mm.
the humming, right? Just bee humming is very medicinal. Like they've actually done it where
Yeah.
people sleep above beehives and they get healed.
Yeah, having a beehive next to your home or in your home, I think is used to be the way, right? If you're a
Mm.
farmer, hunter gatherer, that used to be part of one of your sources of sugar, right? Sweetener.
Mm.
And I mean, you can eat all of that. You can even eat the wax that they use to make candles, out of these compartments, these hexagonal
Mm.
hives. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in some countries, they're now saying it's illegal to keep bees, and I think it's because they're starting to realize that this is like a super high frequency source of nutrition as well.
Mm. Oh, bugger
Yeah.
that. Go out and get bees, everyone. We need more bees.
Yeah, without bees, we don't really have most of the vegetables and fruit that we eat as well. They're so important to
Yeah,
the
yeah. They're the pollinators, right? That's the reason
right.
why they spread chemicals over everything because it takes out the bees.
Yeah, yeah, there's a purely evil, yeah, evil thing that is,
Mm,
yeah. But it's good. People have to be aware of that. And I think when I found the hexagonal on the turtle's back, then I knew I was onto something because
yeah.
the turtle actually used to be the like the ancient Moorish or Maori original people of the land used to use these as a calendar
Yes.
to give you the 13
13
calendars, the
months.
28 days, yeah, 13
Yep.
months. So that's really like an esoteric creature that's giving us so much information just by existing. And those are hexagons too. I thought that was interesting.
Mm,
And I continued to look into bees. Then you have the this which is got this almost religious connotation now. That there is this large hexagonal storm or hurricane or collection of hurricanes that exists on
Saturn.
the one of the poles, yeah, one of the poles of
North Pole.
Saturn.
Yeah.
And
I
I think
mean,
that's where you get the Saturnalian faiths from, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They believe strongly in this number 666, yeah.
Yeah. Not that I believe it's a planet, but I mean, I would say that's the cymatic of it, right? The energetic expression of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we could be looking at some kind of angelic life form or dormant angelic light. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is a planet? Because yeah, they keep using this power over us, this ability to fly when they're not flying. They're not going anywhere. They can't go anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I thought the pattern there is really intrinsic. It's always mentioned Saturn, Saturnalian,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is the
Well,
photo
yeah,
that they give us.
Saturnalia.
Yeah.
That used to be Christmas, right?
Yes, used to be the original, yeah,
Mm,
original birth, yeah. Yeah. So there are some people that believe that that this cymatic or studying the cymatics of the world of all living things and then reading it through water. There's some people who spend their whole life doing this. I mean, they just spend their whole life using different frequencies, studying the frequencies, studying the geometrical patterns within the frequencies, then reflecting light off the surface of the water. You can do this with sand as well. They've done this with sand. And
yeah, yeah,
then you
yeah,
are creating these perfect ancient temples. Like we talked about last time, Borobudur and Angkor Wat. You're creating basically a duplicate of the geometry of these temples,
yes,
which means that there has to be a connection between sound, architecture, and energy grids that we are living upon today. This reality and
totally.
past civilizations, and you can't understand past civilizations without understanding the cymatic hexagon, because
No, well, that was
because
their
it is
tech,
actually
right? They just
that was
had
their
they were
technology. Yeah,
technology. Yeah, they were technically advanced, but not our closed circuit electricity technology. It was earth energy, and
yeah.
everything, is frequency, which means, the geometry is just an expression of frequency, like color is, like sound is. It's all just different expressions of frequency.
Yeah, well, somebody's done an incredible amount of work into trying to understand how cymatics are used to create this hexagonal shape on Saturn. Now, could all of this be factual, or could all of this be this is what happens, I think, when you treat it as a religious symbol. You start to use all of this knowledge that you have about the realm to try to understand why. And I think within this concept, within this work, there is a lot of truth about our reality right now. So you have sound energy that stabilizes in a region of quiescence. Now, quiescence means that there are places on Earth, just like there are places supposedly on Saturn, that have a perfect balance of a certain frequency where energy decides to gather.
Okay.
Now, could you apply this, or could all of this information have been taken from studying ley lines and then applied to a fictitious planet concept?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have this eruptive. So are they using sound waves and large cymatic devices to cause earthquakes, volcanoes, all of this stuff?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Tesla invented the earthquake machine back in the 30s, didn't he? Well,
Yeah,
apparently that's
yeah.
the story, but yeah.
Well, that's the story. Yeah, they do put his name on a lot of things, and yeah, I'm not always sure that he was a real person actually, because the amount of inventions, like it's in the hundreds now, isn't it? Like
Oh,
patents and
it's a
things.
lot. It's a lot, and all very groundbreaking, all, a lot of
Yeah,
differences in them. And then we only have three images of him from his whole life, and he was supposed to be this
yeah,
top tier sort of scientist.
yeah. I highly doubt that there's a family lineage and things like that. I think Guy Anderson looked into it, found no relatives.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're looking at again science that has been carried over from another empire.
yeah,
May possibly the Moors, as we said last time, but I mean, there's other contenders too. There's obviously you've got Peruvian civilizations that knew this, Hindustan, called India today. There's a large Mughal empire. Then there's the Byzantines. They seem to be these great inventors that suddenly came in with a whole nother group of inventions with timekeeping, metalwork. But I mean, unfortunately, some of it we may never know because Tartaria was removed, and there could be other empires that were removed.
oh yeah, completely. And I'm
Yeah,
sure there are, right? Like Tartari was
right.
just the last one, most recent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, in nature, I do see the
Oh,
hexagon and this hexagonal geometry naturally forming in soap bubbles, which I never thought about.
no, that's
So
interesting.
so it seems that's the nature of the realm once again. We're going back to the original building blocks of the realm. You see this in fish.
Oh
Fish
yeah,
have this
wow.
ability to generate light or capture light for long periods of time and then generate light. I think reptiles do as well. Because I haven't put this in my slideshow, but recently I found out that the only time a reptilian appears in hieroglyphs is when it's teaching electricity or electrical like um, uh, devices. Yeah.
Interesting.
So maybe the reptiles we see like electric eels as well create electricity. So there are some
Yep.
creatures in nature that use electricity. So this is a type of cell structure that creates light, and that's also hexagonal.
Yeah, wow.
These are deep fish. I think this is not the anglerfish, but these are very deep sea fish where there isn't light. So maybe yeah, there's also a connection there between capturing light and using light and generating light even.
Mm,
So maybe the hexagon is a generator of light. Um,
interesting.
this was, I think the human eye also is made up of hexagons. So we are seeing through a hexagonal realm kind of
Okay.
mirror. Then you have the eyes of different insects also utilize the hexagonal shapes.
Oh,
So
that's a
this is, I
weird
think this
eye.
is a fly. I think it's like a fruit fly or something, and they have this. But it, but that one might be a flea. That might be even smaller, like a tick or something. But anyway, all of these insects are using these hexagonal cell structure within their eyes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
I've heard that
yeah.
before. Yeah.
So I've seen it everywhere. Like this is I think a fly. It's called a crystalline cone. And it all manifests as a hexagon. Yeah. So this is
Mm.
the superposition of the eye of a fly. I think this is a fly, and also
Oh,
plants.
wow.
So
That's
so
cool.
everything is. So this plant almost looks like it's AI generated, and I had to check a few times because it's such an obvious geometrical shape. But then I looked into the some of the rock formations when you go really deep down into the bedrock, like next to the ocean.
Mm.
I think this is the
That's
Giant's
Scotland, isn't
Causeway.
it? Yeah, the
It is
Causeway of
Scotland, yeah,
Giants.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know Scotland is famous for this, for these hexagonal um, rock structures.
Yeah, well, that
Um,
comes up a lot in the giant trees talk as well, like, and especially like Devil's Tower and thing. They're all got
yeah,
these hexagonal. yeah,
Yeah.
structures, which
So trees are
plants,
using
right?
hexagonal because trees will grow. I mean, wood will grow in that way because it's the strongest. It's the
Yeah,
strongest way
strongest
for it
shape.
to. Yeah,
Mm.
it's going to survive longer. So that is that that does look like a type of petrified wood design for the wood to grow in that way, and then these giant trees end up, petrifying, and this chemical reaction between salt and wood, salt water maybe, and you end up with our kind of realm. But it's not just Scotland. I found these structures also in China next to the sea. So it's not just Scotland. I think Scotland is being kind of marketed as a like one sole sort of rock formation or one type of stone formation, one type of natural rock. But I don't think it's just one type of natural rock. I think it's the whole world. I think if you dig down deep enough, you end up with hexagonal stone. I think we're living on a giant petrified tree, and that is also part of like Hindu beliefs. That is also part of old Viking myths. The Yggdrasil
Yggdrasil,
myth.
yeah.
Yeah, Yggdrasil, the life tree, the tree of life, right?
Mm.
But yes, I saw this even in Taiwan. I have a photo of Taiwan.
Pineapples.
Yeah, and I saw it in pineapples. I thought that was interesting. So even fruits growing in this way. And yeah, so I found so many of these. Like it just goes on and on. Then the mathematics of it is interesting. 120 degrees, and
Yeah,
you have yeah,
720.
six times five. So I think those numbers are very important. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah,
720, which is 72, which is nine, right? And nine's the God number,
yeah.
right? The
720
unifying
is the
number.
frequency. Yeah, it's God
Yeah.
frequency, right? So I think the frequency is the geometry. I think it's manifested sound. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. I mean, star forts were built in the hexagonal shape. Um, I mean, but I've seen star forts actually in
Definitely.
many different shapes. But yeah, there's a lot of the older star forts have hexagonal shapes. Like this is a very famous one.
Yeah.
Then you have yeah, the Japanese scientist that was studying water.
Yeah,
Uh,
Amoto. Yeah.
Moto, yeah, very very famous, and yeah, this is I think a snowflake. So the snowflakes, yeah, basically the whole realm seems to be geared towards this very powerful hexagonal six-sided geometry. So that seems to support life. I think this is a cave I found. This is Lan Yu, I think near China. So it's not just the Giant's Causeway in Scotland. It's yeah, many
Mm.
different. And then also heat is in like large coolers, industrial heating systems also utilize the hexagonal um, cell structure for retaining heat and yeah, pressurized
Interesting.
containers as well, like gas pressurized gas containers are using these hexagonal valves and stuff because it's the strongest shape to keep pressure in. And there's all kinds of architecture using hexagons
Mm. Well,
because
it's
it's
a
just a
yeah,
strong
strong
architectural.
shape. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it translates really well into the architectural sequences. Yeah, for like support beams and stuff. Yeah, so I think that's why it is villainized because it is the cube in a two dimension. So we're going from three dimensions back to two dimensions. You end up with a hexagon. You
Mm.
put the cube in a three dimension. Yeah. So I think then the star would be the fourth dimension. I think they're trying to push us up to a fourth dimensional shape.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the six-pointed star to the 60-degree triangular angles. Yeah, all of this is actually the most important thing for us to look into, and we're naturally wary of 666.
Yeah.
So it's actually
But
I mean, it has to have some luck associated, with it. And the most powerful thing we can do is manifest. And this is the manifestation. This is the moving between dimensions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally, man. Wow, that's very, very cool. Like, but I mean,
So
it's
yeah,
everything's a program, right? Like, not we can't really believe anything we get from the mainstream. It's all just um,
yeah.
it's spelling, right? It's spelling is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is
Um,
kind of geared towards limiting our self understanding and self education. Um, and yes, I mean, who is stealing this life energy? This life energy, and it's. I don't think it's other humans. I think humans could be employed, or humans could be maybe used as puppets. But we have interdimensional beings that are hosting our celebrities. Like our celebrities are not really conscious. We should feel sorry for them.
oh yeah, I
Like,
agree. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I've seen some of them go from these beautiful, creative people to almost like robots, like going through life as some kind of uh, like pretending to be people, like
yeah,
which is yeah, kind of scary. Yeah, we've got to get the curses off us, but we got to understand where they are first.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. It's worth investigation.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go, man. That was really interesting. That was cool.
Thank you. Yes, it's great to talk to you about it. Hopefully, this will make more people aware of how your body works, and to think twice before you go under the knife, and before you look at your body as something bad, or before you start thinking 666 is evil, or before you start going to a fast food restaurant and you don't know why you don't feel great today. What did you
Mm.
eat? How did what did you think on? What did you talk about? Stay away from like the news unless it's something that really applies to your local area, as best as much as you can.
Yeah,
Like my
I agree.
grandfather spent his whole life shouting at the TV, throwing things at the TV. What's the point? He spent his whole
Exactly.
life.
No, it's not
Every
going to
time I went
change
to see
anything.
him, he was shouting at the TV. That's like my main memory of him. It's sad.
It is. It is. Yeah. Well, that's the main thing, right? Be self-educated, man. Like, don't accept anything just because someone says it. Like,
Yeah,
that's a big problem is judging. Oh, they said it, so it's right, or that it's wrong, and then you can't change your viewpoint on it because you've already decided it's
yeah,
right or wrong or good or bad. So, self-education, man, it's the way through.
yeah. Autodidactic people we need to be. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
we need to make it so hard for them to manage us that they doubt themselves.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, let's go somewhere else. It's too hard. We're out of here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so thank you for
Awesome.
putting me on this path back in the day, and yeah, and I'll try to bring things to you more often. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
because in the period of time since we last spoke, there's so many things going through my mind, so many things I've studied, and it's yeah, there's not enough time sometimes to display the information.
yeah,
But I'm
I
finding
know.
luck on Facebook and obviously doing these discussions, these informal discussions. Yeah,
What's your
it's a
Facebook
good way
called?
to kind of. Oh, my name is Charles Ross. But
Yep.
I use Teacher Charles TV for YouTube. Yeah.
Teacher Charles. Okay,
And I
Charles
also
Ross.
have
Yep.
Instagram too. Yeah, yeah.
Under Charles Ross. Yep. There you go, guys. Go
Yeah,
check him
yeah.
out if you're on those platforms. Subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Awesome,
Thank
man.
you.
Well, that was really good, and yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again. Let me know when you've found your next discovery, and we'll have
Yeah.
another
So
chat.
you are yes. So we have a 2 hour difference, not a 1 hour difference according to
Yes,
you.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Because it
three.
thinks I'm in China, but I'm not in China. It's a different country.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
Chinese people don't
Well,
agree, but
Chinese think it's their country, so
yeah, yeah. But you won't find a Taiwanese person who thinks that, which is funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Cool. All
Awesome. All
right.
right. Well, thank you, and yeah, let me know, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about the time thing.
All good, man. All
The we
good.
had like a little bit of an issue earlier, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No
everything
worries,
worked
man.
out
All
well. Thank you
good.
very much.
All right. Have a good weekend. We'll
Yeah.
talk again soon.
You too. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye, Campbell.
Okay. See you, mate.
See you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.